Welcome back to another year. Wow, 2022. Happy New Year for anybody that's watching this that doesn't watch my other videos and is only here for the gardening. So in fact, I don't even know if I've said Happy New Year on my other videos, so Happy New Year everybody. We are back in the garden today and I'm going to be doing a bit of a plot tour and tell you what we've got going on. It's going to turn into a to-do list, I'm sure, because there is just so much to do. I think we're due some milder weather. It's been it was unseasonably warm, then it got super cold, and now it's just nice, you know, when it's not wet for a change. It's been so wet, and it's just nice to be able to get out. I don't mind having to put a hat and coat on. I enjoy working in the just in the dry, really. Even when it's frosty, I enjoy doing that. You can still get loads done even if you can't get a fork in the ground. There's always something to do. And tidying up out here this time of the year, everything just looks so sorrowful, and when it's not tidy it looks 10 times worse, because at least in the summer, if it's not as tidy as it should be, all of the nice things around it are looking so fabulous that it sort of take your eye away from it, but not now. So we're going to have a look around. I want to talk a little bit maybe about 2022. I'm not sure how it's going to pan out yet. We'll wait and see. Show you what we've got going on. There might be some surprises for me, like there was with the carrots in the last video. And we're going to get back into the weekly videos of what's going on in the garden. So we're both working full time still. So although the only time that we can kind of get out into the garden is on an evening or a morning, but it's dark when we go to work. I'm working from home just now, but that's not due to last much longer. And yeah, there's not that much light when we're getting in either. Well, to be honest, there's no light when I'm finishing. Stephen's in a little bit earlier, but he's not really doing anything in the veg plot. He's busy making me lots of fantastic boxes he's got some new tools. Oh my goodness, they're so fab. I'll show you those separately. Anyway, point being, I've still only got the weekends really that I'm able to get out, so I plan on getting as much done on the weekends now as possible. Had to swap arms, getting my arm ache again. I also got my leeks in the other day. I did video some of that, so I might put a little clip in here now. Do I? Who knows? Who knows at the time of videoing? I don't. Anyway, the leeks are in, and this year the theme is all about getting back to basics. And what I mean by that really is my left arm gets really wobbly. And what I mean by getting back to basics is just not trying to be too adventurous, growing what I know works, growing what we'll actually harvest and use, trying not to take too much on, making sure that we're as productive as we can be without being overwhelming. You know, I think things can sometimes get away from you a little bit too much. You get too excited, try too many things. I know I'll still try too many things, but yeah, back to basics is the theme that we're trying to stick to, and that's where we're going to get started. So in order to do that, I'm going to get back to basics and have a neat, tidy plot. It's going to take a while, and just get started from the basics, exactly as I say. We've got sorry, I was telling you about the leeks. That's where that started. The leeks is just two varieties. I've got Musselburgh, which is an Old Faithful, always works. The Victorians used to grow that one, and Bleu de Soleil, which I don't know how you pronounce that, that's how I pronounce it, which is purely because I had so many seeds left of those, and I think they're the only two that I'm going to be trying. I've put those in, I can't remember the date, it might have been like the 2nd of January that I put those in, I think it was. And we'll see how they come along. I'll take a look at those soon, and I don't think I'll be putting any other varieties in. If I do, I'll let you know, but I've already started writing things down, and I'm keeping the names, keeping the tags, keeping the dates, and that is what I want to do as well this year, really get back to basics around that. And although I just tend to throw things in as we get into the busier season and just put stuff wherever I feel like it, really want to try and keep a decent inventory this year. So in August, point me back to this video, will you? Right, anyway, I'm going to get on. I've got to start off by, I've got some scraps from the kitchen. We went to an antique shop the other day, oh my goodness, I got one of those old-fashioned enamel tins, you know, the white ones with the blue rim. I've got two, and Stephen managed to get them for a lot cheaper. Oh, there's a robin in the greenhouse. Stephen managed to get them for cheaper than was on the tags, whereas I'd have probably just paid, because I'm terrible like that, and I don't like to barter people down, whereas Stephen does. Anyway, got them a lot cheaper, and they're just amazing for like all my kitchen scraps. And I think in the summer, because they're really big, I'll show you it in just a sec, I think I'll be able to use them for harvesting all the things as well. I love them, I really do. I don't like brand new things, as in new. I like the kind of the old-fashioned vintage type stuff for a lot of things anyway. I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go get the scraps, take it down to the chickens, and I'm going to show you what's going on in the bottom plot as well. Can you hear Stephen making my boxes? Okay. You see, he's not supposed to be in here. Oh! Oh, go on, fly out, not this way. Yes! This is the tin. So there's my hand, so you can kind of get a idea of size. All the kitchen scraps. These are the ones that are going to the chickens, not that. Oops. I can't feel with my gloves on, where'd it go? These are all of the non-chicken compostable things, so that's going on the compost. Sorry, it was the compost for this tin, and then this one's for the chickens. But yeah, isn't that lovely? The horses are talking, they think they're getting fed or going out. Not yet. That's it there behind me, the compost. So that's all those peelings are happily on the compost now, and we'll go back to feeding us again. But we have a problem. So, trying to navigate across this slippery soil. It's a good problem. So this plot here, put this ball down. So this plot here last year produced a lot of potatoes, some greens, plenty of different things. There's actually still some stuff here now which I will show you. But the bottom end there, but the bottom end where those huge trees are doesn't grow very well. So the trees will be zapping all of the moisture from the ground, and also stop a lot of the light, and it's just not an ideal situation. So nothing really grew that well down there. So we actually decided that we are going to put our pigs that we're getting on the 5th of February. I'll put a little photo in if I can figure out how to do it. We're putting the pigs there in the back end of this plot. Sorry, am I making you seasick? We're going to split this plot in half, and the pigs are going to go in the back end, and we're going to grow veg in the front end. Now, if you remember the saga last year with the lambs, we didn't have pigs on. We tend to do pigs every other year, so we need to make sure that this here remains lamb proof and pig proof. So the pigs will be in the barn to start off with, because it'll obviously be far too cold to have some young pigs outside, but they will be needing to go outside, and once they're out they'll be, you know, you can't carry them back in because they're going to start being full size pretty quickly, and they need to be safe and secure, and I certainly don't want them getting into the veg plot. Anyway, so problem is, I'm going to flip you around, show you what's going on. Apologies in advance for all of the mess in any of these videos. When I say mess, I mean just everything all over the place, weed wise, and yeah, but you know, this is, wow, the sun's coming out. Goodness me, that is absolutely beautiful. That's not doing too well on camera, is it? But oh wow, look, I'm having to shade my eyes. There's a first. Look at the fields. Let me turn you around, show you what I'm talking about. I think this plot is about 75 feet long, I believe, and about 30 feet wide. So there is the pig ark from back when we had pigs 2 years ago, and I started the compost bins at the back thinking that this would stay as a full veg plot the whole way. So those composts where I've actually just tipped what I was telling you about, they're going to need to be moved and sharpish. So Stephen's next weekend off is next weekend, so the Saturday after you guys will see this, and he's going to get down here and he's going to start sectioning this off. So halfway, so I don't know, is that about halfway? Probably where that red rake handle is. So anything on the other side of that is going to be for the pigs, and he's going to put a very secure fence in, so that basically I'm not going to be doing anything on that side. The pigs will just be rooting up whatever's there. We'll put some bedding and all that carry on down for them, but everything that is over there that I want needs shifting back over here. So I need to figure out, once we've split this, where I'm going to put my compost heaps, what I want in this year. So we've got the autumn sown items here that are still doing really well, coming through nicely. I think these are cabbages, looking really good. Those less so, looks like the slugs have got to some of them, but there's greens, so we'll be able to use them. But yeah, need to get drawn up what I want in this plot and figuring out where the best place to put the compost bins will be. That is, hang on, where am I? The front of the house faces that way and the front is south facing. So going to the field is north. So this down there is east. I'm not too sure where I was going with that. I think I was thinking the sun and the compost heaps being in the shade. Anyway, look what else we've got going on. There are some kale, I think these are, that I'm going to harvest. Some awesome ones there. The garlic, despite the severe frost that we've had, is looking really well. Somebody kindly told me that the cloves definitely weren't planted deep enough. And also there were, when I posted on Instagram, there was a few comments suggesting that I should be worried about the cold for the garlic. Now, I always thought garlic survived really well in the cold and they needed it. These seem to have been okay, and we had sort of supposed to be -5 or -6 Celsius the other night, so hopefully they're doing okay and it's not going to be a after effect. All of the rest of these items here can come out. This is all leftovers. We've harvested what we've harvested. Some didn't get harvested, so that's just, you know, it is what it is. There's a few sprouts here that we'll be having this week as sides, look. And they're looking really good. And the sprout tops, there's a little plant there that's got a few on. We'll be having the sprout tops off these. And then there's rutabaga swede, as we call it here in England. Tiny, tiny, tiny babies, but it'll all eat, and we'll absolutely, well, look, it will eat because something's been bloody eating it. Flipping things. But this, where I'm stood now, is going to be the pigs area. So I'm in pig paradise. So yeah, I need to get the rutabaga out. I need to get the swede out. Get these out. Get all this tidied up. I want to get just some ground membrane across there. And what we've started doing is actually just dumping some of the goats' pens, straw and things, so I can just turn that in or lay it on the top. I don't know if I'm doing no dig or whatever I'm doing down here, because these are still some huge chunks of, which you see, because the weather that we've had with the frosts and everything are actually breaking up a lot easier. So we'll see. Haven't yet decided, but I need a plan for this area, so you'll see me drawing that up soon, hopefully. But what I am pleased with is how well these are doing under the tunnel. I know I said they're not doing it quite as well, but I think they would be non-existent by now if I didn't have the nets over them. So that's a definite way forward for me. The other thing actually that I noticed is on my carrots. Unfortunately, the carrots that we had are just not as great as I thought they were when I harvested them. Not the recent big ones on my last video, but the ones that we harvested, like, I don't know, in the autumn sometime, and I stored them. They're storing fantastically. But what I hadn't noticed is what I think is carrot fly. So on the carrots, the only ones that I've got left are quite small, first of all, so I am starting to supplement by buying more. But on them, there's little burrows of black, and it's affected, say, I don't know, half of the middle half of the carrot, and you can chop around it and eat around it, and the rest of the carrot's absolutely fine. But is that carrot fly? I need to do some research on that. But yeah, something's burrowed in. There's no eggs, there's no residue of what might be in there. It's just left a hole, and it's just black, where, you know, the carrots, it's not making the rest of the carrot mouldy or anything like that. So I don't know. What do you think that is? If I remember, I'll show you one, but I probably won't. Realistically, you know what I'm like. Anyway, right. So that's the dilemma, anyway, for the bottom plot. It's a good dilemma, as I say. We're getting the pigs, and that's fantastic. As smallholders, that is us self-sustaining from our diet style. And we need to make a plan for what to do with the rest. I need to know where to put the compost bins, etc, etc. So that's the bottom plot. Let's go and have a look what's going on up at the top. Maybe we've got it. The sheep on that, up on that hill, they sound like in some sort of horror movie. Timely. So the sun's back out, but it's going down, so I want to get this done as quickly as possible because I've still got loads to get done. Did anybody else take advantage of Wickes selling, if you've got a Wickes near you, selling the Jack's Black Magic all-purpose compost? £2.50 a bag for 50 litres. The one that I normally get is 60 litres, but I just paid £7. Put my camera on the fence to save my arm. I just paid £7 for a 60 litre bag. Now £7 is a rip-off, but I wanted to get some compost because I wanted to get my leeks in that day, and where we were going that day, which was the Range, which is just a shop locally, was the only place that I could get it without having to travel for ages to get some. So we just said, look, let's just get a 60 litre bag and pay £7. But even so, I think I might get 3 for a tenner on a really good deal from the country store, if I remember rightly, in the summer. But the 50 litre ones, 3 would be for £7.50, is still a fantastic deal. So we got as many as I could fit into my little car, which was coming home, and it was like that far off the floor, so Stephen wasn't overly impressed. He wasn't with me, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't have let me do it. So I'm stocked up quite well on the compost, which is great because I use that for the seeds. I don't use a special seed compost or anything like that. As I say, we've got the leeks in, and I want to be starting off the peppers soon. I'm going to wait a little bit for the tomatoes, and we'll be getting other things in, some spring onions, maybe some brassicas. We'll have a look. I'll share all of that with you. But for now, before that beautiful sun goes down, I'm going to quickly walk you around this terribly untidy, and there's so many things that I should have already done that I just haven't. So I don't know if I said while we were missing in action, so we lost somebody in, a family member, at the end of last year, and we had so many other things going on. No excuses, I'm not looking for sympathy, but just everything just went by the wayside, and throughout December we pretty much did nothing. We ate out, we drank too much, we spent too much, we didn't do anything in the garden, I did very little cooking, all of the things that are flip side of what we actually want to be doing. But we enjoyed it, to be fair, some of it anyway. We've had enough now, and this is us getting back to it. So this is the whole back to basics theme that I was talking about, and yeah, so that's where I was or wasn't, and that's why I haven't been around. And now it's about making up for the loss. I love being out here. Can you hear that? Anyway, I'm gonna stop now because I'm digging myself into a hole where I feel like I'm talking about something that I didn't even mean to start talking about. So I'm gonna get back in the garden, show you guys what's going on, and the sun is pretty much nearly down now, so I'm gonna stop talking and get going. This is facing the greenhouse. We've got the sage and the thyme, which is just amazing all of the time. Really bad jokes. All of the pots that we had the potatoes and things in last year, I'm not too sure that I'll do that again this year. The leeks, which I've got over there, have done fantastic in pots, so maybe we'll have lots of leeks in pots, I'm not sure. This is the celery that I said I would cut, and I still haven't. Need to do that. As I say, this is going to turn into a to-do list. These are the leeks that went in a little bit later, and to be honest, haven't even done as well as the leeks in the pots. Maybe they're a different variety. There's some greens here. I can't remember what they are, but that leaf there looks a little bit kind of pak choi-ish maybe. And maybe it's just not grown as well as it could have. There's some cabbage style in there. Basically, everything in here can come out and get processed in some way or other, and then this can have a top-up of compost or horse manure, and then we'll just cover it and let it rest until we need it in the spring. This bed here has got some leftover kale in it, which we need to start actually using now that we're running out of other things. So that's kind of my backup kale there. This is just pathetic. It got decimated, and it might come back, but again, I'll probably use this bed for something else. These are autumn planted kale, probably some sort of cabbage. This is why I need to write things down. The chard has done so well, and I think it's time that, I'm not too sure how well it's going to keep doing. There's some nice leaves in the middle there though, to be fair. This bed here is actually really productive with spinach. So all of this can be eaten, the holes don't bother us, we'll just wash them off. And in the back there, I think they were beetroot. Be interesting to see if there's anything underneath them. There's a few sprouts there that we can have too. I don't think, let me have a look. Yeah, these are just going to come out. They're just going to come out, and we'll get the bed covered. This bed here, that is comfrey. They were my beans. Got a few things off there, but I didn't do as well as I should have done in that bed. So again, we'll get that everything off it and covered up ready for spring. This doesn't look like it should be anything, does it? But these are actually salad onions, and they are still perfectly edible, believe it or not. So I'll be pulling a few of those. The rest's weeds. This was the tea bed. I loved this bed this year. This was my favourite. So we've got a little bay plant that'll obviously remain. I'll be harvesting those and keeping them in the house. This is lavender. This is oregano, rosemary, more lavender, apple mint, that is amazing in teas. This was chamomile, so all of this will get cut down. More lavender, and then there is some calendula left in here. This was borage and calendula, so all of that needs tidying out. These are those raspberries that I hate. My rhubarb, obviously that was a flower that we didn't know about. This is the absolutely awesome heck, what's it called? I've forgotten now. Kale, but it's the perennial Tortondine. So that's awesome. Really pleased with that. I think this is thyme. Yes, it is. Just thyme, it says. So hopefully that'll pick up well next year. We'll get rid of all this around it. We've got more rosemary. Absolutely love rosemary. That is thriving, doing really well, or surviving. Beans, they need to come out. This net hasn't worked as well as the one down there, but I feel like everything knows that we grow up here now, so everything comes to this one first. Everything being all of the beasts, the pests. You're going to see me sorting this strawberry bed out. This is just an absolute tip. What a mess. So many runners all over the place. That is the walking tree cabbage. Looking amazing. We'll be doing some cabbage rolls with that next week. Now this is obviously the asparagus, so it's time for this to be chopped down and mulched. I expected this to have completely died off by now, but just like the rest of it, but it hasn't. This bed was my last ditch attempt. There's some things in here that are looking okay actually. There's probably a cabbage in there that the chickens will enjoy. I think they're Savoys. These were pathetic cauliflowers that just, yeah, need to come out. Now these little things, these look cute. They're edible. Tatsoi, I think maybe. And look at that giant cauliflower. So all the rest of this is just going to come out and get covered over. Try not to trip over. These are doing okay. Suffered in the storms, but these will be cabbages. Now, another dilemma. I'll tell you about that in a minute. This just got blown off in the storms. Dear me, what a mess. These will take off in the spring, I think, though. This bed's empty, believe it or not. They're just weeds. And then under here, we've actually got the Jerusalem artichokes. So they will be fantastic to have. And we've got some leeks there. Some more cabbage. That's another Tortondine that you can see isn't doing anywhere near as well as the one I've just shown you. Now the interesting thing, and my dilemma that I wanted to talk to you about, is basically, so this hedge here, very untidy hedge, needs trimming. Anyway, that casts so much shade on this side of the plot at the back there, that what I was thinking about doing is actually turning the back of this bed into compost bins and bringing all of our food and things out to there, because I'd like one at the bottom plot and one at the top plot, just to make it easier obviously for doing the beds when we're covering them in top compost, etc. So nothing that grows like on that back bit there grows very well because again of the shade, and probably the same thing as down the bottom where we've got the moisture being sucked out. So I might do that. These are the gooseberry bushes, very productive. The birds enjoyed those this year. Need to do better there. These are the raspberries. I'll be cutting these down because look, thugs currants. Now these are already starting to bud because of the mild weather that we've had. Can you see? And this mess is all of our orchard style trees. I mean, yeah, there's an upturned bucket from where we were sat on it harvesting. Isn't that terrible? And there's further bushes, fruit bushes in the back there. These little pots here are all mints and lemon balm, and there's more rosemary. I'm hoping that these come back because everything looks so sad right now. So needless to say, there is a shed load of work that needs doing. That sun is crazy again. Let's get some better lighting. And I'm up for it. I'm up for the challenge. I can't wait. I mean, there is a heck of a lot of shifting and just general tidying up that needs to be done first. And there's still quite a lot of food in here that we can eat, that we can, you know, the greens mostly, and there's nothing better for you in my opinion than the greens. We've got loads of potatoes left in storage. The carrots are pathetic, and it bugs me having, they're so small, but I don't want to not use them because we grew them, so it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. Anyway, still plenty of food coming. There's all of the leeks, there's those swede down the bottom that I need to get out before next weekend because of the pigs. So next time, excuse me, runny nose, you know what it's like. Next time I put one of these videos out, so the kitchen garden style videos, I should have taken out all of those swede, and Stephen will probably have started fencing or finished, knowing what he's like, in the pig area. So let's wait and see if that actually happens. I haven't even been in the polytunnel or the greenhouse with you guys, but I will show you that next time. But for now, the sun's going down, even though I'm having to hide behind a fence post to not blind myself. And this is just, yeah, a real honest look about what veg plots, when you're not Charles Dowding and you are me, Tracy, what your veg plot might look like in January. Let's get started with some of the jobs. So much to do, so much to do. And if you're up for the journey, then join me next week and you can see what we've been getting up to as I try to get tidied up. And on top of it, as I say, when you don't really have much daylight as well. Sound like I'm making excuses already. Right, I'm gonna go. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.